Welcome back. Welcome back. There we are. I was kind of worried about that black there.
The screen was black. Where are we?
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we need to let people know about being on the show sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Certainly.
Can you help us out with
that?
Would you
like to be a guest on 726 Harrison?
Yes, I would.
This is how you can do it. You can call our office at 741-4891, or better yet, you may stop by our studio at 400 South Sycamore, or you can visit us on Facebook, Hometown Television.
You've had too much helium.
Hometown TV, I guess it actually is. Or you can visit our website at hometowntv.net.
Yeah. Thank you.
Or is it hometowntelevision.net?
.net. Hometowntv.net.
.net. So please.
That's easy.
Or, you know, even it doesn't have to be you. If you think of someone that you think would be a worthy guest on this show, just have them contact us. We would love to have them.
Or you nominate them. You call.
Yeah, you can call and do it.
Yeah, we'll run them down. We'll chase them down.
That's right.
That's how we do things around here.
That's how
Interview rodeo. That's how we do it.
Okay.
Our next guest is Doug Reed and Patricia Taylor. They're here to talk about Thorncrown Chapel, which I've never heard of before.
Beautiful place.
Where is?
Are you serious?
I don't think I have.
You're serious?
Is it not? It's not locally. Are we talking about the one in
Eureka?
Eureka Springs? Okay, I've been there for weddings, so I know all about it. Then I thought it was something local. Sorry.
Go ahead and tell us.
Now, are you the curators of that, or?
Yeah, Patricia and I have been at Thorncrown for almost 30 years.
Really?
The chapel itself has been open 32 years. It's, like I say, it's the glass chapel. West of Eureka Springs is 48 feet tall. Mm-hmm. There's 6,324 square feet of glass and 425 windows.
Wow.
Now, this was a famous architect put this together. I don't know this story, and I didn't do any research on it. So,
tell us
but
about
yeah, tell us about it.
I was designated to tell the story.
Okay.
Okay, please do.
Well, while we do, we're going to show some photos of what you of the Thorncrown Chapel. So just go right ahead.
The founder, Jim Reed, was a native of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. There it is, and he was a school teacher. Moved to California, met his wife, who was also a school teacher. Came to Eureka Springs in 1955 on their honeymoon and fell in love with the town. Decided they wanted to retire. So they built their home, and in the process of building their home, they built an extra wide driveway. Well, around Eureka Springs, we don't have wide anything anywhere.
Exactly.
Travelers thought it was the perfect place for coming and pulling off and having picnics and leaving their trash afterwards.
Oh, boy, yeah.
And Mrs. Reed has said many times that it was sad because not once did they ever invite him down for a picnic, but they always left him the garbage. And it was one day when Jim was down picking up the trash that the idea occurred to him that maybe he could build something more uplifting for travelers to do. And that's when the dream of the chapel began. He met Ife Jones, who was a student protege of Frank Lloyd Wright. They discussed plans and said they could build the chapel within 8 months. It was only going to cost $80,000. Jim was very, very excited because he'd just finished selling his other home. And amazingly, the sale of the house went for exactly $80,000.
Wow.
They got started on the project. They had the money, the land, got halfway into the project, and the money was gone. To make matters worse, the contractor told him that if he wanted to finish the chapel, it was going to take an additional $200,000.
Oh, my.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't know very many rich school teachers. And Jim was not rich, and he knew he had a problem. He started going to banks and lending places, even friends trying to borrow the money to finish the chapel, but nobody would loan him a dime. He became known as the Nut, living out on Highway 62. And they'd stop him and call him a fool right to his face. And one winter day when he realized that he couldn't finish the chapel, he came down to a half-finished building and decided it was time to quit. And instead of taking that last look that he intended to do, he ended up at the altar steps, which were actually finished at that time, and for the first time in his life got down on his knees and started to pray. He got up that day a totally changed man and started walking home, and he thought, Father, boy, if you can do that for me in a half-completed building, then I need to put my faith and trust in you so you can finish it. There was a verse in Philippians 4:19 that says, My God shall supply all of your needs according to his riches of glory in Christ Jesus. He went home to wait on the Lord, and it wasn't much longer. Some say it was just around 3 days that he received a letter from a lady in Illinois who had heard of his situation. and was willing to loan him the money.
Wow.
They finished it in June of 1980, and since then we've estimated close to 7 million visitors have passed through to a place that was said no one would ever go see.
Wow.
Now, how is this funded as far as maintenance and upkeep and that kind of thing? Is it just solely on donations?
Well, we've got two sources of income. One is donations, and we get about half from that, and the other is weddings. In the 32 years we've been out there, we've had we lost track, but somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 weddings.
Wow.
At the
Yeah.
chapel. So.
And I'm sure that wasn't even in the initial plans, is to make money on weddings for the building.
Well, yeah, it soon became apparent that there was a great demand. People started asking about it almost immediately.
Yeah.
when we
Well,
opened, so.
I've been to 2 or 3 weddings there, and it's an awesome place. I mean, it's just
It's stunning.
it's almost like a dream that you're in a building, but you're really not in a building. I mean, it's just an odd place to be, really,
Yes.
if I can use that in a positive way. An odd thing to do. But what's the goal for it now? I mean, is it completed and you just want to maintain that? Now, is there another building like this somewhere else? Because I seem to remember there's another building similar to this one somewhere in Arkansas. Am I wrong in that thought?
Yeah, there's the Cooper Chapel over in Bella Vista,
Okay.
which was Fay Jones' second chapel
Oh, okay.
that he made, I don't know, 5 years or so after Thorncrown.
Yeah.
And I think Fay ended up doing about 10 or 12 chapels.
Really?
They're all over the country.
So he didn't quit too early, did he?
No, he was an amazing fellow.
But this was the first one of its kind.
First one, yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
And
That's
it's
neat.
actually ranked 4th in the top 10 buildings designed in the 20th century. It's
Really?
very famous in the architectural world.
Yeah, you ask any architect, you mention the name Thorncrown to any architect, and they'll know
They'll know
exactly.
where it
They'll know
is.
and they'll know Fay Jones. So.
Now, this has probably been dedicated at some point as an open house, but you're having another open house, right? Is that what's going to happen?
June 12th is coming Tuesday. It's an event is called Celebration Thorncrown Chapel, and it's being put on by the Eureka Springs Chamber of Commerce, the CAPC, the Crescent Hotel, the Inn of the Ozarks, and Purdy Art Studio.
Wow, it's going to be a huge
And
event.
It is going to be a pretty big event. They're going to have a tent out there with food and refreshments, and there's a ticketed. We had to have tickets because there's limited seating for our
Right.
first service, but it's going to be kind of a reunion. We're going to have Maurice Jennings, who worked with Fay Jones in designing the
Oh,
chapel.
wow.
Is going
That'd
to be
be nice,
there,
yeah.
and he's going to explain to us how the thing stands up, keeps standing up all these years. We're going to have the original builder, Jerry LeBounty. He's going to tell us.
Is that the gentleman that says it's going to cost $200,000 more to get it finished?
Well, they really didn't say. They didn't really. They were.
Oh, boy.
No one really knew because it was such a unique
Yeah.
building. No one had any idea. How
Well,
much
that had to have
it
been a shocker to think that you were going to spend
Exactly.
$80,000. It's going to cost you another $200,000 to get it finished.
cost. Yeah, it was quite a shock.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't help but
Absolutely.
think also that everything was designed so that 2 men hand carried everything back there in the
Oh,
place
wow.
that it's built. So.
They really wanted to preserve the environment.
Yeah.
The building is so much part of its setting.
Yeah.
The two are like one. That's Fay
I
Jones.
bet there's
so.
fingers crossed and praying when storms and stuff. I mean, I think about the beautiful setting with all the beautiful trees, and then you've got this beautiful glass chapel. And
Yeah, last spring we had the biggest storm we've ever had, and it was almost baseball-sized hail, and it
Wow.
destroyed the roof on both our buildings out there. It didn't break one single pane of glass,
Wow.
wow.
but it sure messed up our roofs.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So this event's coming up next Tuesday,
June 12th.
June 12th. And what time is it? At 2 o'clock. I see here. 2 to 5, is that right?
Yeah, the actual open house will be from 2 to 5.
Will there be any
Okay.
special speakers there other than who you already mentioned?
Well, we're having the first service. It actually is at 1, but
Okay.
it's ticketed because it's just limited seating. I think the tickets are already taken for that, and we'll have our speakers in, but they'll hang around after that, and folks will be able to meet the folks that were involved in
Okay.
What year was this completed?
1980.
80.
1980. And I want to let people know if you're in Eureka Springs, you can take the trolley and it takes you to the parking lot. Is that right?
It does, yes.
To this, and then it's a short walk. I don't think it's not a half a mile. It's a quarter mile or less than that, isn't it?
yards, I
Yeah.
think.
100
Several
yards.
100 yards. Okay. to the chapel if you want to go out there. It's free admission. Of course, they always have a donation receptacle there if you'd like to donate, and it's just a beautiful place to be. And you ought to consider it if you're wanting to get married. It is an awesome place
It's a
to be.
popular spot. Yes.
We also have services on Sunday.
Do you really? Every Sunday?
Regular
Okay.
services,
Regular
okay.
Two of them,
services,
yes.
2 of them.
And what time do those commence?
9 and 11 o'clock.
Okay.
9 and 11.
They
Every
last
Sunday.
about 45 minutes. They're not long.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming over.
Thanks
Appreciate
so
it
much
very
for
much.
making
We
the
want to
trip
let
over
people.
here.
Yeah, we want to let people know that if you'd like to be a part of this this open house again, it's going to be June the 12th. The first one's 1 o'clock, but it's already been that's
pretty
full,
much, yeah.
pretty much full. But if you'd like to go out and see the chapel and maybe meet some of the people that are involved in it from its inception, you can go out there between 2 and 5 and talk with anybody there. Thank y'all so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
My pleasure.
All right.
God bless you.
Up next, we're going to spend some time with Mark Garner. He's with the Central Ozarks Farms and Artisans Market. I'm sure he's over there shaking his head
He's
like,
laughing.
oh my gosh. Anyway, we'll be talking to Mark here in a couple of seconds, and we're going to go over to our other part of the studio and look at all the vegetables and eggs and bread and
Meat.
chocolate chip cookies.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're after. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.